Dr. Veronica Esagui is your host for Authors Forum.
The serial killer stuff comes from, I don't know. In fact, he was one character I did not want to get in his head. I did not want his backstory. I don't know why, but it had to happen. So this story screamed for it, so I had to do it.
And you just finished doing a book tour for the Red Boots. Where did you go and what was it like?
Went back to Illinois, spent about a week there, traveling around to local places that I've been to before, and also California. California had a book trade show for some of the local booksellers, and so I went down there, but did some other marketing along the way and events and such. The tours, I usually call them my friends and family tours. So wherever I have friends and family in the country, that's usually where I go to.
That's a great idea.
Market books.
That's a great idea.
Well, I get a chance to see my family in the process and friends.
Yeah, that's
so
wonderful.
Yeah.
I understand you also did a book trial. You're very big into promoting your books. You're doing a great job.
Yes.
I must congratulate you on that.
Thank you.
So you did a book trailer about your book, The Red Boots. Would you mind if we saw it now?
No, not at all.
Okay, so let's check it out.
Shannon O'Toole, Dublin's new sculptor, is about to begin her first world art tour. She's frightened by the news that the Dublin serial killer is still out there. The killer's newest victim has just been discovered by the Irish Garda. Shannon hates being in the limelight of the art world, but her demanding mother controls her life. Until she finds a letter from her estranged father, begging her to return to her birthplace in Oregon. Shannon sees the news about the women murdered by the killer and is shocked by her resemblance to the victims. She decides to leave her art tour and find her father. But has the killer chosen his next victim? A long way from Ireland, Shannon has returned to Oregon. She's nervous about seeing her father again after 20 years of separation. But Jake McLeod, Shannon's childhood friend, doubts that she will stay this time. Shannon is glad she came, until she realizes she may have to rely on her own inner strength to protect the one she loves. But is Shannon really safe?
So, that was awesome. That was really good. I really enjoyed it.
It was really fun to produce.
Yeah. Tell me, what is a book trailer anyway? I mean, we just saw a little bit of it, but what is a book trailer? Well,
it's like a movie trailer. A new movie is coming out, and so they'll have these little short snippets, 1 minute long or so, and then they produce those either YouTube or on TV or whatever, just to get the attention of it's coming, or here, something new is happening, and give you a little taste of the story in the process. But I had stumbled onto YouTube and just typed in book trailer just to see what I would find, and it was amazing how many are out there. It's it's an interesting market now. Yes.
So how do you make it happen how do you make it that people will go into you to watch your?
Oh, just the blathering of telling everyone that I know. my fearless, shameless marketing, I call it. Yeah. It's also on my website. There's a link to it on the website, so you don't have to go try to find it on YouTube. And if you just go to the Red Boots site, it's there. But it is it's viewing it on the YouTube in the process. But it's an interesting tool. I found through that I've hit a bigger market than I ever could in my own, with the YouTube being viewed all over the world. So because of that, it's becoming more of an interest internationally.
International, yes.
Yeah. So
how do you know? Fun. Do you know how many people are watching it, or do you have any way of checking
I think it's had over 500 views. There's a place on there that tells you how many views.
That's excellent.
And if people would pass it on and get more people to watch, it would be even better. So.
Right. What's the course to put a book trailer? Was it about a minute, would you say?
Well, it was a total of 1 minute, 12 seconds, I think, something like that. I usually, most of them are better if they're kept down to about 1 minute in length. Because after a minute and a half, if that, you start losing interest. Because I've seen some really long ones, and it's like, when's it going to get over? But for a book trailer, I'd keep it small. But it was like doing a small mini play. I've worked in theater before and was able to I wrote the script for it. I set up my production plan, my set plans, finding the actors and the people that I needed to do the show for me.
Did you direct it?
I did the direction, yeah, and it was really fun because we did it as straight film instead of, or photography instead of video, because it's a book. So because of the still shots, it was more like turning the pages of a novel than watching some movie type of thing, even though it is a movie on YouTube. But it's these stat pictures that you see in the process. The people, it was amazing that just cooperated and brought out all of this wonderful work and help for me, and the locations, and a wonderful man gave me loaned to me thousands of dollars of gold bronze statues to use for the gallery. The local gallery downtown McMinnville was part of the set. They found, and then it became like a giant treasure hunt with finding an Appaloosa horse and a body bag and a black car and a log home. It was really fun to put together.
So was it expensive?
On my end, no, because I was able to do most of the work. We did film and then sent the film to a fellow that I know from the Gallery Theater in McMinnville that allowed me to let me do most of the work, and then he just stitched it together to make the video for me. So it was just his cost and his time to do that. I was recently at Wordstock and was in a book panel with two other authors, or one author and one woman who produces videos for authors. And it was interesting to see the comparison and the costs that were involved in it.
What is it like?
So, well, it was mine was based on what I had to pay for the video stitching, for the final production. The other author was a professor at a university, and so he was able to incorporate a friend of his who is a graphic novelist, and the film crew, or the film class, to produce his. So it didn't cost him anything.
Right.
And then the woman that has the business, it can be thousands of dollars, depending on how extensive you want your book tour or book trailer to be. So it can be extensive from zero to whatever, yeah. So.
Do you have a favorite paragraph that you'd like to read from the Red Butch besides the first chapter you read, or are you happy with what you just read?
Well, there's a section in there where the young sculptor, Shannon, is working on her father's statue. And she kind of has a problem with that one. And let's see if I can find that.
What was your editing process like?
Well, I have a number of editors. I have a content editor, and then I also have a couple different line editors that help me with my work. And then usually I have a professional editor go over it when I'm all through.
To finish it, yeah.
Yeah, but the content editor helps me to stay on track of my timelines, etc., and my points in history. Because with Koenig's Wonder, it starts in 37 and ends in 69, so I had to make sure that buildings I was naming at the time were actually there and such. So.
And your publishing experience has been good?
It has. I've really appreciated that a lot. I love that my publisher just does a marvelous job.
And who's that?
Shannon pressed the heels of her hands across the clay cheekbones on the jawline of the man's bust, which was mounted on a slab of bog oak. She'd found the rare piece of wood preserved in the Irish peat bogs during a short visit to her grandparents in Clifton, County Galway. She sat back, looked at the bust, and frowned. After a moment, she picked up more clay from the small pile next to the statue and began to fill the cheeks back in. Damn! Frustrated, she pushed a stray lock of auburn hair from her forehead with the back of her clay-covered hand. She'd been struggling with this particular statue for over a year. Looking around her studio, Shannon sought inspiration in the myriad of shelves containing statues. some finished, others still in progress. Her studio was the only place she felt free to be herself. She saw a sculpture of a rearing Appaloosa she'd created from memory and sighed. "I'll not finish you today," she said to the bust of her father, a lilt in her voice. "I'm not sure I'll ever finish you. It seems horses come easier to me than the image of your face."
A lot of emotion there.
Yeah.
Thank you for reading that. So
Thank you.
It's a mystery, but it also has a lot of feeling.
There's a lot of heart in there.
Okay. I understand you like to teach workshops in writing in schools.
Love
what does that
teaching
entail?
schools. Well, that started when I was asked to be part of a mentor program at the high school in McMinnville. And whenever a student, a senior, junior or senior is interested in writing as a career, then they would contact me. And shadowing an author is a little daunting because we sit a lot and we muse a lot and we research a lot and that sort of thing. So generally I meet with the kids for about an hour and we chat, and they have some canned questions they have to ask and some others if they're interested, and it's really been a fun process. But in the meantime, I ended up finding out that there were a lot of creative writing classes that are happening in schools today. And when I was in high school, I had a teacher that basically stopped my writing for a long time, and I didn't want that happening anymore. And so I was really pleased to see the classes that are going on in the schools. So I asked if they were interested in workshops to have a writer come in. And the first one I did was with Heather Sharfadine. She's another author in our area. And she and I did one based on sort of trying to bring your fiction, your words to life, getting the imagery of your words and such. And then since then, I've kind of gone off on my own and created a similar workshop on writing visually. And I recently did a couple different ones with some middle school age groups, and it's amazing to see how fast the kids just can't get the words on the paper. They're just so excited to do this, and I'm hoping we end up with a whole batch of new writers someday with this.
I'm sure you will. You'll be an
It's
inspiration.
wonderful.
How does someone find your books? Where does someone find your books?
Well, they're on the online, of course, with Amazon, Barnes & Noble. They're also, the Red Boots is on Kindle.
Okay.
I don't have Koenig, I don't think is on Kindle at this point. They're also available at my publishers, which is Lumina, I think it's just lumina.com or luminapress.com. It's on the book, or it's on my website. If anyone wants an inscribed copy or a signed autographed copy, there's a site on my website, and there's a place on the page for the Red Boots or Koenig's Wonder, that you can make those requests.
And do you have any final thoughts that you'd like to share with our audience and viewers out there?
Well, I think just read and just let us know how you if you enjoy the work. I love to see reviews or people contacting me based on that. The next book I'm working on is Koenig's Wonder 2. It's going to have a different title, but I'm planning on a 3-book series, since it is a Triple Crown kind of story.
Yes. Yeah.
Because George gets he wins the Kentucky Derby, but his horse is stolen right afterwards, so he doesn't have a chance to take this horse for the Triple Crown.
2 more after these ones.
So 2 more of those.
Okay.
So that's why the
Awesome.
outline this time. I had to outline from the first novel to see, do I have enough? And I hadn't planned on sequels at all, but my readers want more, so that's what I did.
That's a good sign.
Yeah.
That's a very good sign. Linda, thank you very much for being at the Authors Forum today.
Veronica.
It's been a great pleasure. And until the next time, have a most inspiring week.